Welcome back to our 40th wedding anniversary trip. We had just left Illapah Reservoir and headed on into Ely, Nevada. The Nevada Northern Railroad Museum was a real fascinating place to stop, and I would highly suggest it for anyone who sees themselves in the area here. A little bit of history about the museum. Between 1905 and 1906, the railroad constructed this station to connect copper mines and smelters from Ruth, Nevada to Ely, Nevada. Most of these buildings you see here in the rail yard are all original, which I think is really, really fascinating. In 1907, the main East Ely Depot was completed. That is the building that the gift shop was in. One of the neat features of this rail yard is how many original buildings still exist, because this railroad was in service all the way into the 80s before it was closed down. In 1941, regular passenger services on the steam engines had ended, but freight continued. In 1956, there was a 50th anniversary where the railroad had a big celebration in September. They pulled out an original steam engine, engine number 40, to pull some passenger cars, so the train was temporarily taken out of retirement. In 1983, Kennecott Copper Corporation shut down, and when they did that, they shut down all regional mining, and they shut down this rail yard. So they had worked really hard on coming up with donations to acquire this for the state of Nevada for a museum. So in 1983, because of all those donations, the Nevada Northern Railroad Museum was founded. It didn't open until 1987. When they did open, they had a steam engine powered excursion train, and they used engine number 40, which we'll see here in a little bit. It left Ely on Memorial Day weekend. The museum opened that year as well. In 2006, this was designated a historic landmark district. A lot of these buildings are currently being used as storage sheds, but they were all original to this rail yard. What we were told while we were on site was that this is the most complete rail yard with the most complete rail yard buildings that exists. One of the areas still had the original turntable where you can pull engines and cars out of it. One of the highlights of this area is the machine shop. They are actively working on the trains they keep there at the yard, including the number 40 steam engine. And they allow the public to come into the actual machine shop and take a look at all the processes, the machining equipment, the trains, and various parts of being torn down and rebuilt. And it was just amazing to see the different pieces of equipment and actually watch firsthand them grinding and welding and removing parts and just all the different techniques and processes they're using to completely go through and restore and rebuild these old trains, from tearing the boilers apart to taking the running gear apart. And you saw the lathe that they can re-square the wheels. They have heavy cranes to lift heavy objects. There's wheels and axles literally laying on the floor they had just removed from various trains, and being able to walk up that close and personal to these while they're currently working on them was just flat out amazing. The amount of different trains, from old diesel to the old coal and wood-fired steam engines to fancy passenger cars, I mean, just all of it. And here we finally get our first glimpse of locomotive engine number 40. This thing's got a really neat history. It was built in 1910 for the rail yard here in Ely. They paid $13,139 for it brand new in 1910, and it has spent its entire railroad life on the same tracks here out of Ely, Nevada. It's a 460 built by Baldwin Locomotives Works. One of the real neat stories about this train is during World War II, which you have to remember that it was 1941 when regular passenger service ended out of here. Even though freight continued into World War II, scrap metal was in high demand. Every time the crews working the Ely area would hear that the superiors were coming out to have engine number 40 scrapped for the war effort, they would fire up the old engine and go and take it off of one of the spurs, off of the many spurs of the mining tracks, to hide it from the superiors so it stayed there. So the rumors were late at night, people would hear a lonely train whistle and hear the steam locomotive chugging its way down the tracks. That was engine number 40, when they were actually hiding it from the superiors so it never got scrapped. So it also became known as the ghost train. And it's just kind of ironic that the crews did that to hide it from its superiors. And here it is now, part of a historic landmark with such a storied history. And it was operating not that long ago, but they had to tear it apart to do a required boiler inspection. But it's expected for that to be reassembled, back in working order, and pulling excursion passenger trains in the not so distant future. I know that the money required to turn some of these old shops back into what they were is unfortunately astronomical in today's day and age. But it was really neat still to see a lot of these old original facilities and be able to walk around the rail yard like that and just be so close and personal to all of it. It was a lot of fun. If you ever do find yourself in the Ely, Nevada area, I would highly recommend stopping by the Nevada Northern Railroad Museum and enjoying the sights while you're there. And this is our spot. We got spot 8 here at the Ely KOA. Stopped here for the night, gave us a place to plug in, recharge our batteries. I really need to get the solar up on this trailer. It comes with a picnic bench, fire ring. We weren't able to use the fire rings, fires weren't allowed. But it's a real nice KOA. Lots of campsites. It's got a bathhouse with showers. We were able to take showers yesterday. That was really nice. It's got a dump station on site. These back-end sites that we're in are only electric and water. They don't have sewer hookup. But the office has various RV needs if something breaks on your RV. The staff here was real friendly. Got a volleyball court. Got a playground, well-maintained site.
We also used the laundry facility here yesterday. Laundry was really good. This little building here is 2 bathrooms, and each bathroom has a small shower in it. Say there's about 36 by 36. Water was good and warm. Nice facility. They got several cabins. Got pull-through sites, back-in sites, tent sites. Real nice place. And here we are at the Ward Charcoal Ovens. I will say the road in off of the highway, off of 50, is all gravel. The first section is a county road. It's not that bad. The very last bit, quarter, maybe a half a mile coming into the park here, is a bit on the washboard side, so I had to slow down for that. But all in all, decent roads coming in here. And this is a fee station. So looks like since we're out-of-staters, we're gonna need to pay $10 for the day to walk and look at some charcoal ovens.
It was a little steep.
It does seem a little steep for...
But we'll give stamps, so I'm thinking of
Yeah.
giving stamps.
Okay. Fee is paid. Let's go check out these ovens. There was a vehicle here when we showed up, and they left pretty much right as we pulled in, so we have this place to ourselves. I don't know if it's always this quiet or if this being Sunday, it's just a lot of people don't come out here. I don't know. So if you didn't pause the video on that first reader board, it talked about them needing to put 35 cords of wood in each of these ovens to create the charcoal. And it would burn for 12 days before they got the charcoal. That is just crazy. Look at how thick these walls are. Not sure what the camera's going to do in the lighting, but let's go inside. This is cool. It's very echoey in here. So if you look all along the bottom here, there's these vent holes, and you can see outside. They're all along the bottom. That would allow a draft of fresh air into the bottom. When you go to a campfire, you see your campfire ring has openings along the bottom. It's the same thing. It's allowing air in because your fire needs air, fuel, and heat to burn. I guess that's for putting wood in. Really interesting though. And they came up with this in the 1870s to produce charcoal. And here at this site there are 6 ovens. They all are pretty good shape considering.
Considering 150 some years old.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's a historic site, but you could convert this into a 2-story home. It's well insulated. It's nice and cool in here. So according to the diagram, they would put like a walkway from the hillside back here to the window. My guess is anything that may have been remnants of that is long gone because it was made out of wood. But interesting. Some pretty big, heavy stones here on the bottom for a foundation. Pretty neat invention. Served its purpose for a time and then just been left all alone. And being stone and masonry, time's actually not been too harsh on them yet. Found this campsite on Campendium. It's Ward Mountain Dispersed. And the surprising thing to me so far is how much traffic we've had on the gravel road that we're just off of. But it is pretty area here. It's just outside of Ely, Nevada. And we found this spot. It was a bit of a challenge to get it level, but it worked. We're not exactly level, but as you can see from the truck is a little crooked. So it took a little finagling, but it worked. But just a really pretty area out here. And we have tomorrow planned as one of our do-nothing days. So we are going to sit back, enjoy the landscape. Sonja's probably going to do a little sewing, and I might actually pull out the pad of paper and do a little doodling.
Okay, I am paused on my little flower basket quilt for a little bit because I have to make another bag. I realize I've made several bags lately, but this one's actually a little bit different and I kind of need to. This bag is going to actually be a toiletry bag because we have the new area, linen closet area in our Tidewoods trailer together. We were putting things in there to see how they fit, and I realized that my current toiletry bag isn't going to be the greatest, so I wanted to change it. So I have drawn up a little design of what I'm doing, and I've been working on getting things cut out. Now, I am actually going to do this with a drawstring top. What I want is a shorter, kind of a flatter rectangular bag. My current one, I have like two sides and it opens up and you have to zip things open. And so you're having to zip into the bag, zip into the side to get into products. And I think that's just going to be too complicated. So I want something that's more like an open box, though I will have a divider in the middle. And then I'll have the drawstring top because that way I can keep things contained so they don't fall out. But when we are at our location, I can have it open so that it's very easy to access and I just have to reach in and grab something. So this is what I have. I looked at some of my fabric and I found some that had like soap bubbles and I thought that's perfect for a toiletry bag. So currently I have cut out this is my main fabric, and I've cut out pieces that are 7 by 9.5. And I also cut out interfacing. So I've already put interfacing on the back side of my outer bag because there'll be an outer bag, an inner bag, and then the drawstring portion. For my bottom of the bag, I have a piece that's 4.5 by 9.5, and then I have two side pieces that are 4.5 by 7. For the inner bag, I do want to have a divider. That's what these pieces here are for. They're going to make a divider with a zipper, and that's going to go all the way across the bag and all the way down to the bottom because I don't want one that's connected just on the sides. I've had bags like that before and then things go underneath and you have to fish them out all the time and it's annoying. So I want one that is connected bottom and sides. So my front and back piece can be the same for the inner bag, but my bottom piece has to be in 2 pieces, as my sides have to be in 2 pieces each. So I have a total of 4, so that I can insert the zippered section, which is over here, when I get that together. I have batting cut out, which I will put on my outer bag pieces as well. I have not, as of yet, cut my straps, and I have not cut my drawstring bag part. We're getting ready to leave soon. I'm hoping I'll have time to get this together, but we'll see. And I wasn't sure which fabric I wanted to use. I think I probably want to use this for my straps and maybe for my drawstring portion. I'm not sure, but I also had to see how much I had. I wanted to make sure I had enough for my inner and outer bag before I cut anything else out, because I could just use nylon webbing or cotton webbing for my handles. So I have other options. I could use a completely different, just like a muslin or something for my inner bag or for my drawstring bag portion. So I figured I need to get the main part of the bag together first, and then we'll see what we do. I will also need some binding, because I'm going to put together my outer bag, then the inner bag will go together and it will go inside it. And then when I connect the drawstring portion to the top, those will all be raw edges. And so I wanted to do binding at the top, just like I did on my other latest drawstring bag that I did. So this is the project that I'm working on. I'm going to be working on this as quickly as I can. And I hope that you'll enjoy seeing this go together. And I hope it works.